Welcome back to the channel, everybody. I am McAlphanine. Please subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. I would greatly appreciate that. And if you could, please click that like button, turn it into a rocket, and send it to the moon. So, Ripple, XRP, Ripple is continuing its onslaught on the internet. Listen, Ripple is serious this year. I firmly believe they heard what Hbar is trying to do with advertising increasing for Hbar this year. They said they're going to do more than ever. Also, them making open source the hash graph. They heard about that. They see Stellar fighting hard for all the money. Ripple wants to be #1. I absolutely love that. And that is a company. When you have a company like that, that's a company that's going to help you make money. They are hungry, they are fired up, and they are continuing their onslaught via the internet. So we have a tweet here from Ripple. It says, "We're looking for a senior software engineer of developer operations." Didn't I tell you? I said this a week ago, that you're going to see companies like Ripple hiring more. They need to do a little bit more, advance the protocol a little bit more. There's so much they can do. And here you have now, they are hiring for a senior software engineer of developer operations. They said, "Have you seen one? Head to our career pages." Then you have the posting here on ripple.com, boards.greenhouse.io, senior software engineer and developer ops liquidity. So they are very serious about advancing XRP, advancing the XRPL, and that is very good for holders of XRP because that price is going to raise. Ripple is doing an amazing job. They're taking no prisoners. They don't want the #2 spot. That's what I want to see, and that's what I want to hear from a company that I am investing in, a company that I want to bring me healthy profits. This is what I want to see. So then they have another tweet here. Did you know? I think we all know, but this is not really for us. This is for government officials. So many government officials, as I iterated in the previous video, so many government officials are just extremely ignorant. And we're going to see that when it comes to the Fed, not just extremely ignorant. And I mean no harm by that whatsoever, but they're not educated well on the banking coins, the advanced protocol that we call the banking coins, XLM, Algorand, XRP, Hbar, Cello. They're not educated on those particular things, but also this is to really highlight who's going to be left out because of governmental entities like the Fed punting CBDCs down the street. They don't want to make a decision. They want to stay at this neutrality. It seems to me that they're going to force Congress to have to make a decision. That is like Ripple's trying to let people know who's going to be harmed. Let's read this tweet. Hashtag did you know 1.7 billion people are unbanked, but implementing CBDCs can help drive greater financial inclusion. To achieve widespread adoption, banks and fintechs must enable consistent and reliable interoperability. Learn more in this Ripple Drop episode. So Ripple, as well as the Bank of International Settlements, International Monetary Fund, and the European Central Bank are on one accord. One accord, the only outlier, the only one completely going against the grain with this neutrality nonsense, as far as regulatory clarity, is the Fed. My goodness. And there's a lot of reasons there could be for that. Obviously, I believe the Fed has so many ties to the legacy system. They have a vested interest. The individuals have that comprise the Fed have a vested interest to hold these technologies back, to buy the legacy system a little bit more time. Now, there's a reason that I say that, because in that Fed document, they showed exactly what I was saying, that they are working on legacy system extensions of what would be something like a CBDC. Legacy system overlays, which would congeal with whatever they're cooking up now, would congeal with what they had in the legacy system. And that's what they would use in place of a CBDC. Now, fortunately for us, that technology is flawed and hasn't caught up yet. But this is why I'm saying that all of these, the foundations and the companies like Ripple that are the builders of and upon the banking coins have to continue to stay ahead of the curve. They have to continue to innovate and not allow the legacy system to catch up. It doesn't matter how long the legacy system tries to stall, they can't catch us, and we shall have this victory. But there is a page in that Fed document we're going to take a look at a little bit later in this video that they literally tell you that's an option. And it was one of their first options, but we'll take a look at that a little bit later. So Ripple is continuing their onslaught. This is very, very good. The future is extremely bright. Look at the prices right now on XRP. This is the time to scoop up larger bags of XRP. Not a financial advisor. This is not financial advice, but this is where you win. XRP, let me tell you, I've been saying this since I first got on YouTube. XRP is going to shatter $8 and $10. Now, I understand a lot of people are going to take profits. They're going to sell, and that's great. Get your money. And a lot of people have enough coins to where it hits $8 to $10. They're done. They're done. They made a ton of money. I mean, disgusting amounts of money. They've been accumulating for a long time. Take your profits, and I am proud of you. But XRP is going to shatter $8 and $10. If there's regulatory clarity, that price is going to fly immediately so fast. I don't think people understand the Ripple ecosystem. Have you seen the Ripple ecosystem? All the banks and large financial institutions. Now, you can't possibly think that only Stellar and Algorand are trying to have payroll run over them. I have to constantly say this about payroll, because what payroll is going to do, depending on which institutions, if they're large business institutions, what payroll is going to do, just taking those into account, is stabilize that price. If there is a stabilization to be had, stabilize that price at a very, very high level is going to be higher than $10. So I expect XRP at some point, regulatory clarity, it will shatter $8 and $10. People are going to take profits. They're going to be out. Then it will have a bit of a dip correction. It might even consolidate as more infrastructures are being set up and more companies are trying to get it up and running and fully utilizing XRPL and on-demand liquidity. They're going to get addicted to on-demand liquidity. That's another thing the Fed was talking about. There are so many issues with the federal system. My goodness, it's looking good. The more issues that they show us, it's looking good for XRP, Ripple, Stellar. Oh my goodness, Stellar's going to fly too. And you can see this. We're looking at what's actually there, the infrastructure that's being set up, how many ecosystem partners. Let's just take them combined. Combined Ripple, XRP, and Stellar XLM via IBM, as well as, let's say, Visa. They have over what, like 400, maybe over 500 ecosystem partners combined. They're going to dominate. Now, with that being said, Algorand also is going to dominate. So let's move on to Algorand. Algorand has been showing the best of itself in 2022. So much news has been coming out about Algorand. We're on the Algorand Twitter here. CrowdX. In this week's blog, we talk about our recently announced partnership with Algo Foundation and how companies will be able to plan to compensate for future UK-based emissions via the blockchain. The idea of carbon credits. We're going back. Ripple just put out some tweets about carbon credits. Now you have Algorand talking about carbon credits. And the little blurb reads as such. It says, greening the blockchain. The idea of carbon credits is nothing new, but with societal demands now so great for a cleaner environment, the market is expected to see, and then you have to click on the article to read a little bit more, but you can see now the agenda is green crypto, and all of the green crypto are on one accord. I think a lot of them are either members or privy to the Paris Climate Accord, which Ripple, I believe, is on the governing board, or one of the boards of that, is a member of that particular system. The Bank of International Settlements wants green crypto, IMF, ECB, World Bank. When you have the most powerful institutions telling you that they want something, they're going to get it. Just understand that. But we have Algorand, CrowdX partner with Algorand, pushing carbon credits. Keep that in mind. That's going to be huge in the future. So also, we have Folks Finance. Folks Finance says they are proud to announce closing of their $3 million seed funding round. So they have a picture here of all the people, I suppose, that helped him with seed funding is Borderless Capital, Jump Crypto, Powerfied Capital, Algorand Foundation is in there. So Algorand is positioning itself in such a powerful way around the world and in a myriad of industries. And all of these are key industries, key regions. What they're doing is so targeted, it's so meticulous, it's mind-blowing. It shows you that the company is headed by a genius. You can see that also in companies as such as Hbar. We have Lehman Baird. You have an absolute genius at the head of that particular company, and you see how strategic they're moving. And then you see how their prices can just explode out of nowhere. You get good upticks and you can take healthy profits. Let's say you were a day trader, but all of that is a result of a brilliant team. Algorand is going to dominate. That price is going to fly. You saw what happened last year. I told you last year when I brought Algorand to everybody at such a low price. And I said, hey, take a look at Algorand. It's a banking coin, right? And I was screaming from the rooftops. Then it went from 52 cents to 46. Then it shot up to 60 cents. Then people thought that was it. Shot up to 70-cent range, 80, 90, a dollar. It just kept going. That's nothing. There's more to come. Not financial advice. I'm not a financial advisor, but I'm telling you with Algorand, there's more to come, a lot more. This is getting exciting, everyone. Very, very exciting. Okay, so now we go here and we have Jasiri Protocol joins the Algorand ecosystem as our latest grant recipient. Mike, there's so many, so many roots being planted by Algorand. Let's read this just a little bit. The Jasiri financial system aims to provide a financial protocol for African entrepreneurs that is transparent. What did I say before? Algorand is planting roots in regions that are going to explode. Africa is a place you want to conquer now. You want to get in now. Their economy is growing at an exponential rate. I want a piece of that money. Muy linda, mi gente. That price is going to Raisito. Raisito. I went a little too far. All right. I like to have a little bit of fun. Just a little bit of fun. These guys are like, Alpha Name is snapping here. No, I'm very excited. I'm having a good time. It's a great time to be alive. Look at those prices. Oh my goodness, it's a great time to be alive. You want a piece of Africa? Let me tell you right now, you definitely do if you're a banking coin. Get into Africa. If you're not in there now, Africa is going to be dominating in the next 20 years. Its economy is going to be exploding, and they have enough people where you set up infrastructure. You have constant flow if you're setting up infrastructure for a financial institution in Africa. Over the next 10 to 20 years, Africa's economies are going to take off. You want in on Africa. You want to dominate Latin America. There's a lot of infrastructure to be set up in Europe as well. Do not leave Europe out. Don't think that way. There's a lot of infrastructure and improvements that can be brought to Europe. Okay, there's a lot of regions that Algorand is in. Remember, they had the Algorand European Accelerator. Algorand is positioning itself quietly. I mean quietly when it comes to like really addressing governments on regulatory clarity, but not quiet when it comes to telling you what they've done. They have NFTs with Le Mans. They have some of the best NFTs. I have some Algorand NFTs coming out, by the way, very, very soon. I'm working on them, and they're going to be extremely rare and extremely valuable. When I put out these Algorand NFTs, you want to definitely grab them. As the channel increases in subscribers and popularity, and I do different things in the future, and hopefully we continue to do well, those NFTs I'm going to put out are going to be very, very valuable. When you see them, you're going to understand what I mean. They're very unique, and there's a few of them I'm going to put out. Nobody else will have them. Nobody else will have the information in them that I'm going to put in them. Okay. So anyway, look out for Alpha Name NFTs, and they're going to be on Algorand. I love Algorand. I love Algorand. Let's go. Let's go here. Okay, so let's read a little bit more. Costless, regenerative, and community owned. It includes a core crypto asset that secures transactions in the protocol in a peer-to-peer fashion to exchange value, and secures decentralized finance applications built on the protocol to derive and create value. The Jasiri protocol works as a crypto economic primitive built using Algorand off-chain smart contracts and a smart contractable crypto asset secured by agency networks operated by partner African entrepreneurs that enables the unlocking of value from real-world assets and commodities and simultaneously lowers the cost of transferring and settling value among businesses, individuals, and communities with a focus on Africa. And that's exactly what we need. We need companies that are bringing Algorand into Africa and focusing on Africa. We need focus in these corridors. Continue to build, because what's that going to mean for you and I? That means that price is going to rip the roof off your house. That price is going to make you have heart palpitations. That's what it means. We want them doing this. We shall have our victory. The potentiality of this is unbelievable. If you see what's going on with the African economies, how much is going to develop, how the corridors are bursting. It's a wonderful, wonderful, wonderful time to be alive. My goodness. You realize no one else is ever going to have these type of opportunities that we have right now. We are a special select group. Welcome to the club. Shake my hand, but you don't really have to shake it. That's right, Don Alphaneem. I'm stealing your catchphrase. I owe you guys another Don Alphaneem soon as well. So you also have a tweet here from Algofi, and it says such. A lot of you have been asking what Algofi team has been up to in recent weeks. The answer, building. Coming soon, Algofi DEX plus stable swap. There's so much going on with Algorand. They're doing a great job. I'm very satisfied as being a holder of Algorand, of Algo, and having any type of interactions with Algorand. Kelly Callahan in their marketing department has done a fantastic job of building the community, and you see the community rallying around Algorand and promoting them constantly. That's what you want. They have a great community. They have governors that are a myriad of different people can be governors. If you're a holder of a certain amount of Algorand, I believe you can vote on certain things. You have power in Algorand. Like, it is unbelievable what they're creating over there, what they're making over there. So understand what you hold. It is like gold. Algorand is going to do wonders in the future. So then we have some more Algorand news. Algo Pulse reaches milestone with launch of new v0.5 website. As navigate your way through the Algoverse with a host of new features and cutting-edge design, visitors to the new website will be greeted with a visual feast of graphics with a comprehensive list of resource channels, including how-to articles, infrastructure, media, learn. The content-rich site is designed to bring greater understanding of the ecosystem to crypto enthusiasts and crypto curious. This is just the next phase before the final interactive site is launched later in 2022. This is not even the final edition. Wow. This is a very exciting moment in the history of crypto, where you see these blockchains and blockchain affiliated companies just creating so many things so quickly, and they're innovating extremely fast. The rapidity of it is mind-blowing. And it's all so exciting. It's like, how many different ways can you say you're excited about it? But I am. I feel it like in here. I'm like, oh man, we're going to make so much money. And yes, people are going to be helped too, but I'm here for the money, as I know you are as well. But that price of Algorand, that price of Algorand is going to just insanely take off. I don't know how many ways I can say that. I think you already know that. So then we have another another piece of information coming from Ripple, and the article is on protocol.com, and it is titled, Ripple's top lawyer says the SEC has declared war on crypto. Didn't I say this the other day? I had a video, I think I titled the video, War for Quadrillions. And in the past, I had another video, I think I titled it Quadrillions War. And I told you the government, certain governmental entities see this as a war of the legacy system versus the new financial system that is being built and set up. They see it as that, and they are treating it as such. Now you have a Ripple top lawyer saying the SEC has declared war on crypto. I hate to break it to you. There's way more than the SEC declaring war on crypto. If you see all of the governmental entities that Stellar had to battle last year and was battling with, FAFTA, FinCEN, They didn't really have problems with the SEC. You know, I think they have a pretty good relationship with the SEC, but so many. And there was another governmental body that Stellar was battling against and trying to bring over to our side and give them a greater understanding. I can't remember the name of the other one, though. There's so many governmental regulatory bodies, but most of them have declared war on crypto. And those are the ones people aren't going to see coming. The other governmental entities apart from SEC. We'll see what happens in the future, but let's read a little bit of this article here. Stuart Alderati, General Counsel of Ripple, has been known to take part in what's become a popular pastime among top crypto executives, bashing regulators on Twitter. Wow, why would you begin this article in that way? Let's continue on a little bit further. Last month, he blasted the SEC's approach to crypto companies, as he should. The SEC has a terrible track record of dealing with crypto companies, and it's regulation by enforcement. There's no regulatory clarity whatsoever. So it's not bashing if you're just stating the facts of they have done a very, very poor job. This is not an insult to say such a thing. It is you're using your deductive ability to say that, well, if you're just enforcing things, but there's no regulatory clarity, but then after enforcement, we ask you for clarity and yet you still won't give it to us. I mean, that's not bashing, in my humble opinion. It's also not a negative thing, in my humble opinion, to be frustrated as a company that stands to bring in billions, if not move into a trillions category as far as its value, and to be held back from that potential success and greatness by an institution or governmental institution or entity that is resting on his laurels and really just acting as a regulatory bully. I don't see the negative in that. Let's continue on here. Last month, he blasted the SEC's approach to crypto companies, arguing that when the SEC doesn't get unconditional surrender, that's true, it ramps up intimidation and aggression. We all can see that. Just by their actions. By their actions, you know them. By their actions, you can determine that yourself. Let's continue on here. Let's read a little bit further. The strongly worded attacks are surprising coming from a lawyer. Why would that surprise you coming from a lawyer when he, as I iterated before, he is just speaking the reality of what not only they are dealing with, number one, but all crypto companies who are having these dealings with the SEC, and there's going to be a flood more of companies that are going to have to deal with the SEC in this capacity. So he's really speaking for all of them and informing them, if they're not informed, but they should be, but informing them of what they have been dealing with at Ripple, dealing with the SEC, and why they have this view of the SEC, and many other companies outside of crypto do as well. Have you not heard how Elon Musk speaks of the SEC? All right. And he's a very intelligent individual. So let's continue on here. It says, but Ripple is at the center of one of the biggest legal battles in crypto. The SEC sued the company. We already know all of that. The legal brawl, which shows no sign of quick resolution, will likely shape coming debates over crypto regulations. They're just going to punt this to the Congress. That's what it seems like right now. Congress is going to have to step in. And I believe I read a few articles where they're considering doing that. And there are some things in the work behind the scenes. We'll see how that happens, see what happens with that and how they go about regulatory clarity. And hopefully they do. Hopefully they do, and they listen to reason. Stellar Foundation is there to guide you. Okay. I'm quite sure Algorand Foundation would step in. Emtech is there. I mean, Emtech is there, and they will actually provide you with a regulatory sandbox where you can test out the regulations and see what effects they have on the systems and the people. Emtech will hand that to you. So, I mean, so hopefully if they choose to enact regulatory clarity via the Congress, that Congress is going to do it from a place of wisdom, a place where they were informed and working hand in hand with the foundations and the NBFIs, non-banking financial institutions, or the companies that are willing to set up infrastructure for regulatory sandboxes like Emtech. Everything is right there for them. It's just a matter of the people actually wanting to do work and actually wanting to take action. That's all it is. That's all we're waiting on. So we have that. Then you have the tweet from Emtech. Here, as fintech rapidly evolves, it can be unclear if any regulation should be applied. A regulatory sandbox is an environment where regulatory approaches can be assessed at a fast pace while creating an environment for innovators to develop new solutions. So there you have it. So they're willing to offer you a regulatory sandbox. The problem is the government needing to cease being lazy and actually want to take action. That is the problem. There's a lot of laziness in the government, and they just rest on their laurels, leaning on the legacy systems and all of the money that they're making from the legacy systems, and forgetting about all of the companies that could stand to gain from this, large and small, and all of the people that could stand to gain from this brilliant new system, large and small. They can forget about them because the money clogs their ears and the money blinds their eyes. That's just how it is. So then we have a little bit of news from Hbar here. Smart contracts 2.0 are now available on Hbar testnet. Hbar is taking off. They are dominating, doing a great job. And I expect that price to really, really explode from where it is now. Of course, now is a great time for accumulation. In my humble opinion, not financial advice. I'm not a financial advisor. I'm just telling you what I do. That's it. What you do is up to you. But this is a great time for accumulation of something like Hbar, where Hbar is going to take off. It's that simple. It's going to take off. And quite rapidly and quite easily, by the way. From where it is now, what is it, like 24, 25 cents, something like that? It's going to smash through 30 cents, smash through 40 cents. Maybe it gets some consolidation around 46 cents as people start. I think people will start to sell off around 46 cents at some point, as they believe that it will take a dip. So they're going to sell off to try to keep some of their profits, which makes perfect sense in my humble opinion. You might experience a little bit of a dip. And then I believe if they advertise like they said they are, and they continue to innovate, and you have so many different other institutions and companies building on hash graphs, since they're going to open source it, then yes, it's going to, after some consolidation and possibly a drop from 46 cents once it reaches that range, then you're probably going to see it smash through the 46 cents area zone. Okay, that's just my humble opinion, but yes, it's going to take off. In other words. So now we finally get to this Federal Reserve document. My goodness. This was a hefty one. This is one. There's so much negativity in this document. My goodness. It's hard to make it through this document. It really is. Let's start here on page 17. Let's start here in this little paragraph, and it reads as such from the Federal Reserve CBDC document that they just released. And it begins as such, as noted above. For the purposes of this discussion paper, CBDC is defined as a digital liability of the Federal Reserve that is widely available to the general public. Today, Federal Reserve notes are the only type of central bank money available to the general public. Like existing forms of commercial bank money and non-bank money, a CBDC would enable the general public to make digital payments. As a liability of the Federal Reserve, however, a CBDC would not require mechanisms like deposit insurance to maintain public confidence, nor would a CBDC depend on backing by an underlying asset pool to maintain its value. That's interesting, to say the least. The power that the Fed operates with and just fabricates value out of nothing is unbelievable. A lot of you know why I say that. That's unbelievable, but let's continue on here. A CBDC would be the safest digital asset available to the general public with no associated credit or liquidity risk. All right. The Federal Reserve will continue to explore a wide range of design options for a CBDC, and this is where the foundations need to step in and keep their voice in the ear of the Fed. Continue to suggest why blockchain is the best option for a CBDC. Continue to innovate and make your blockchain so superior in technology that the Fed cannot say that it is inferior. Shear up and close some of the holes in the technologies. Not that there's many holes at all, but the Fed likes to highlight the tiny little holes that are in the technology and make them seem very big. Close those holes. You close those holes and you advance your protocols, and you will seal that deal, and we shall have our victory. Let's continue on here. CBDC, if one were created, would best serve the needs of the United States by being privacy protected, intermediated, widely transferable, and identity verified. Privacy protected. Let's Let's go to the intermediated section here. The Federal Reserve Act does not authorize direct Federal Reserve accounts for individuals, and such accounts would represent a significant expansion of the Federal Reserve's role in the financial system and economy. This is what the congressman, I believe it was the congressman that tried to pass a bill against the Federal Reserve to stop them from issuing a CBDC. That's what they had a problem with, I believe, because it would expand the power of the Fed exponentially, and nobody wants that. Nobody wants that right now. There are a lot of individuals who do not see eye to eye with the Fed and the federal policies and what they do. So yes, that is interesting to say the least. Under an intermediated model, the private sector would offer accounts or digital wallets to facilitate the management of CBDC holdings and payments. This is where Stellar steps in, Stellar XLM. This is where you step in, because you can be one of those foundations that offers accounts, digital wallets to facilitate the management of CBDC holdings and payments. Ripple also can step in there, as Ripple is already doing that or going to be doing that for Palau. That was a great example. All right. Them allowing the public to know what they're doing in Palau and how they're going to be issuing digital wallets is perfect for something like this as a use case. OK, so let's continue on here. Potential intermediaries could include commercial banks. This is why they're trying to position commercial banks now to custody crypto. That's what that's all about. Helping the legacy system to get a leg up or a foot in the door. They don't want to be left out in the cold, and they can be. They can be completely left out. The foundations and the companies like Ripple, Stellar Foundation, Algorand Foundation could completely shut them out if they really desired to and wanted to. But there's still some time left. So the governmental entities like the Fed and SEC are dragging their feet to give the legacy system institutions time to get their foot in the door. We'll see if that happens or not. It doesn't really change much for us, but that's what I perceive is happening there. Potential intermediaries could include commercial banks and regulated non-bank financial service providers. That's just NBFIs, non-banking financial institutions. NBFIs, the Fed likes to use different language than the Bank of International Settlements. I don't know why, but the Fed likes to have this dominance factor. See, we're different, you know. You use the metric system, or, you know, they like to have these differences. And would operate in an open market for CBDC services. Also, although commercial banks and non-banks would offer services to individuals to manage their CBDC holdings and payments, the CBDC itself would be a liability of the Federal Reserve. An intermediated model, let me just stop right there for a moment. I think this is why the Stellar Foundation was initiating and trying to build such a good relationship with the Fed, because they understand the liability that the Fed holds if institutions are going to be involved with custodying CBDCs and being able to issue digital wallets. They have to have the trust of the Fed. And that's why Stellar has developed such a tight relationship with the Fed. And I think why there was so much disappointment when this paper came out. There was so much disappointment that came from the words of Danelle Dixon. Of course, she tried to balance it, and I respect that. I understand why. But in those initial tweets, there was disappointment there because of the relationship that had been built. This is such an interesting, it's turning into a little bit of a drama, but it's all very, very interesting, and it's going to turn out very good for you and I. These are great indicators that Stellar Foundation and Ripple are on the ground, and they are doing things behind the scenes that could make those prices raise it tall. Very, very good. Very interesting. We'll continue to watch these things. Okay, so identity is something that people have a big problem with when it comes to CBDCs. Let's read a little bit about this. Identity verified. Financial institutions in the United States are subject to robust rules that are designed to combat money laundering and financing of terrorism. A CBDC would need to be designed to comply with these rules in practice. This would mean that a CBDC intermediary would need to verify the identity of a person accessing CBDC, just as banks and other financial institutions currently verify the identities of their customers. This is a reason why people love DeFi. It really is. People like to use crypto like it's cash. And with cash, you don't know who's using it for what, where it was used. It's just, here's the cash. We understand the value of it and what it's supposed to stand for. And so I trade you this cash for whatever service or item I need to receive. That's it. So this is a big problem with CBDCs and them floating the idea of it. And this is why certain crypto around the world that are beyond the use beyond the regulatory constraints of the United States will continue to do very, very well, because people just want digital cash. That's what they want. They don't want to have their identities floating around in federal databases and on a constant daily rate, and the Fed constantly having to look at your name. People don't want that. So we'll see how they continue to go about this, and how that information is dispersed within the system or utilized within the system. But yeah, that's one thing that people don't like. So that identity aspect, I think they purposely made that very, very small. Of course, they would need a lot more time to convey their thoughts on that, and they definitely should. But the Fed also said that they're going to be engaging the public more this year than ever. So we'll see if they keep their word. A lot of times the Fed has said things like the release date of this paper, and they did not keep their word. They kept pushing it back. But hopefully they keep their word, and the public is able to interact with the Fed a little bit more this year. We'll be able to ask some of the best questions possible. So just be prepared for those moments. I know I am going to try to prepare for those moments. And when they come, we attack. Not really attack, like, oh, maybe I shouldn't say attack. We act. Let's say it that way. We act. All right. We step in. We have questions ready. We engage in the live streams that they're on. Maybe we make some phone calls, however it is that they want us to interact. Sometimes they have polls, right? They do polls on some of these government websites asking you questions. Make sure you engage with the polls and let them hear our voice. Nothing is accomplished without action. You have to take action. All right. Be involved. You want those millions. You want those billions. We got to be involved a little bit. Potential benefits of a CBDC. A CBDC could potentially serve as a new foundation for the payment system and a bridge between different payment services, both legacy and new. So this shows you here, as I said many, many times, the banking coins are undeniable. So they're going to get a piece. It's just a matter of how big of a piece they're going to take, okay? Both legacy and new. So one, they're going to have interoperability, because all of the world powers are not going to let the Fed not have interoperability and cut them out. That's not going to happen. So with interoperability, you're going to have quadrillions of dollars flowing in and out of various systems. And one of those main systems is going to be the banking coins. And when that happens, if everything goes according to plan, that's going to send prices skyrocketing. There is nothing and nobody that can stop it, not at this particular time. Of course, in the future, things could change. But if things change, then we're going to take note of that and try to figure out a solution. But as of right now, there are no mechanisms in place that can stop those prices from going parabolic and us making a ton of money. But that's what they're saying right here. Let's read that one more time. A CBDC could potentially serve as a new foundation for the payment system and a bridge between different payment services, both legacy and new. It could also maintain the centrality of safe and trusted central bank money in a rapidly digitizing economy. A US CBDC would offer the general public broad access to digital money that is free from credit risk and liquidity risk. As such, it could provide a safe foundation for private sector innovations to meet current and future needs and demands for payment services. That's if we have regulatory clarity. So if you feel that way, then you should be helping to push for regulatory clarity, in my humble opinion. I don't know if that's going to happen. If you have the ear of some of the congressmen, I definitely don't believe you have the ear of the SEC, because they're so power hungry. In my humble opinion, they're so power hungry. They're not going to listen to anybody. That's not going to happen. Not with Gary Gensler at the head. He is too headstrong. So I understand that you can't pull the ear of the SEC. But if you actually believe this, this is great for holders of the banking coin. This is amazing for us. Let me read that one more time. As such, it could provide a safe foundation for private sector innovations. If we're allowed to continue to innovate, if we're allowed to continue to exist with regulatory clarity, we're going to dominate and take over. We have the most brilliant minds in the world working on these blockchains, the best people possible. Take a look at some of these teams that people put together, the teams over at Cello. Take a look at the team at Algorand. Have you seen them? Take a look at the team at Hbar. My goodness, you have geniuses everywhere. Stellar Foundation, geniuses everywhere. Ripple. Do I have to really say geniuses everywhere again? We have some of the most brilliant minds if we're allowed to continue to innovate If there's regulatory clarity, you are going to see more improvements than you've ever seen before, more advertising than you've ever seen before, and the banking coins will dominate. Muy linda, mi gente. Muy linda. Muy linda. So yeah, hopefully they hold true to this conveyance here. All options for private digital money, including stablecoins and other cryptocurrencies, require mechanisms to reduce liquidity risk and credit risk. Okay, so this is where Ripple steps in, Ripple XRP. You're gonna love this because to reduce liquidity risk, you have to have on-demand liquidity. It's one of two things you have to have. Let's say three, and I'm gonna tell you why. You have to have on-demand liquidity or instant liquidity from Stellar. On-demand liquidity is Ripple. Instant liquidity is Stellar. And I believe both are going to come together like Voltron. It's going to be unbelievable. And most people will say, we didn't see it coming, but you were told. You were told. You were warned that it was coming. And those prices are going to be unbelievable. But anyway, you have to have either one of those two, or to negate this, or do what the Bank of International Settlements said. And what they said in their document, where you could have holders of these particular protocol stake them. You would form the biggest liquidity pool in mankind's history. If that happens, generational wealth is an understatement. I don't know what's greater than that, but if that were to happen, generational wealth does not hold the weight of what this will actually bring to the table. Unbelievable if that were to happen. But that's sort of a long shot, even though they did put that out there. That's sort of a long shot, in my humble opinion. But we'll see. But you would need one of those three things to negate the possible liquidity risk and credit risk. All right. And also, I would like to say that you could also take a lot of the structure from a lot of the collateralized coins. You have a lot of collateralized coins out there that deal with credit, like AMP. Cody, I think Coti coin is also a collateralized coin. So you have archetypes there that you can take from. But I mean, we'll wait to see how all of that works out. A CBDC might also help to level the playing field in payment innovation for private sector firms of all sizes. Exactly, yes. For some smaller firms, the cost and risk of issuing a safe and robust form of private money may be prohibitive. A CBDC could overcome this barrier and allow private sector innovators to focus on new access services, distribution methods, and related service offerings. Fed, are you trying to make me like you? Because it's working. There's parts of this document, don't get me wrong, there are parts of this document that are overtly negative, but on cryptocurrency. But right here in these few pages, they sound very bullish. And I understand why. This paper is a condensing and a congealing of a lot of different great minds putting papers and documents together. Like I said, made in labs, and their partners at MIT. I can't remember what their partner was called, named, but those partners. Then you have other institutions that were not named that were putting together documents, and so everything was condensed into this 40-page document. This is nothing. This is nothing. If I believe we're going to see a more robust document come out sometime this year. 40 pages that's not enough. That's not enough, and this is not all of the information. But they needed to satisfy the people for a while, and this definitely is going to do it. It doesn't give clarity on anything. It gives them a neutral stance, but it's enough for people to sink their teeth into for now. So I don't want to hold everyone too long, but this is a very hefty document. We could go through in a multiple of videos. Maybe we'll do that. A lot of this information is extremely important, so we'll come back to this. We'll revisit it and give ourselves a little bit of a break right now. So now that you have that information, what are you going to do with it? I know what I'm going to do with it. So until next time, let's get to the money.